my name is Michael Cowder. I live here in Sydney. I own and am the CEO of a political and lobbying communications firm with about 8 full-time staff in the city, and I guess it's my job to develop strategies for big corporations and how they talk to politicians. And I'm here tonight because I was intrigued by it a few years ago, and I thought, one day I'll come. Tonight I've come, and I've been really surprised. I was quite humbled by what I saw earlier, a little bit challenged by it, but when I think about it, I'd hate to be in that situation. I guess hearing one of the young fellows speak in a group situation earlier about his troubled youth and the problems that he faced, and we're the same age, I'm 38, he's 37. He had a pretty rough start. I was lucky I didn't. But listening to that, and then I picked up a card that said bankruptcy, and I guess as you move up and more, and you have a nice house and you have a nice car, but you have a bigger mortgage and you have bigger commitments, it's so easily something could go wrong. And I guess that's a fear of mine. And I guess when I was listening to a couple of the other stories a bit later on in the evening, it sort of confirmed that, whilst I didn't really relate to it because I've never been in that situation. Don't get me wrong, I've had difficult situations, but I've had the wherewithal and the support to get me through it. And but I can really see how things could potentially come unstuck quite easily. And I think the main thing is that whilst there's all these things that can go wrong, the basic foundation issue is if they don't have the right support or at a young age and the right foundations, then they're really not, people aren't very well set up for life. Well, I have a pretty good life, and I've worked for it. I didn't grow up particularly wealthy, and I guess it feels, sometimes I have to pinch myself that I've done well, but I've only done moderately well compared to most of the people here. But I live in the city, but I come from the country, and I see just how easily I've made my wealth over the last few years, but I could lose it just like that. And I see people in the streets around where I live or nearby, and I often wonder, did you have a nice house up the street a few years ago, or on the other hand, why didn't you? Are you there because you didn't have, a nice loving family like I had, or maybe you didn't have the right doctors to get you to overcome, their mental illnesses like I may have, and I guess so. So I wanted to come here just to see what it was all about, out of curiosity, and also because, it's nice to give back in some kind of way, even if it's token. Yeah, well, I think that there was some last-minute people, some friends of mine, and they're all young guys that got their own companies and things that probably would have come. Yeah, sure, come, and it's an experience that will enable you to meet people from different walks of life that have achieved things with very similar backgrounds to yours, or who have not achieved things with the same backgrounds of yours, and really the difference between their successes or failure was sometimes just one thing that went wrong at some stage. So it's good to come along to these types of things, because apart from being an opportunity to maybe meet some people, which, it's not really been about that for me. That's always good for young people, but you don't know what you don't have until you've lost it, and maybe you get a bit of an idea about what you might lose if you come and see for yourself here.